Welcome back. The Craniofacial Center here at Children's provides medical and surgical care for any form of head or neck malformation.
It's not only one of the biggest craniofacial centers in the country, it is also recognized as one of the best.
This is both because of their expertise in surgical procedures and outcomes, and also the interdisciplinary care that they've developed here.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 5. On the side.
Adorable, energetic, rambunctious. Family and friends have many words to describe little Savannah Berry. However, shy doesn't happen to be one of them.
She's just full of personality. Loves to put on an act to anybody.
Savannah was born in China with a cleft lip and cleft gum line. She ended up at an orphanage, and that's where Ed and Carrie Berry met and adopted her last year.
It's hard to say if she were to have remained in the orphanage, whether she would have been adopted at all.
When we first saw her picture, I realized that she had a cleft lip, and I just thought she was kind of cute.
And just saw her picture and thought that she needed a home, and so we made the decision to adopt her. Who knows what her life would have been like in China, but here in the United States, and having the, having her lip repaired, I think that she's got an incredibly bright future ahead of her.
Hey, Savannah. Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
That's certainly due in part to the phenomenal work done here in the Craniofacial Center at Children's. Dr. Richard Hopper, the center's surgical director, took time out in the operating room to tell us a little bit about Savannah's condition.
So today Savannah's going to have a lip revision. The muscles of her lip are going to be repaired so that she'll be able to drink with a straw and smile evenly. She'll also have her nose repaired, so it'll help her with her breathing as she gets older. And she'll finally get a result that's balanced, so she looks the same both on the left and the right.
Michael Cunningham is the Craniofacial Center's director.
We all work together to provide every aspect of care. I mean, my goal with the program and with the surgical director, Dr. Hopper, is that any child that comes to our program that has any head and neck malformation, we can tell a family of a newborn infant that we can provide every aspect of their care.
So really it gives them a sense of peace, I think, that they know that their child's at the right place and that they don't have to go anywhere else. Everything they need is right here in Seattle.
They can really work miracles here, changing a situation like this into this. The team here works with state-of-the-art equipment, like this device, which looks futuristic, even by today's standards. It can show a CT scan in 3D.
Virtually all of the surgical procedures that we're using are techniques that have evolved over the past 30 or 40 years. And one of the benefits with our program is our experience. We treat hundreds of children with most of these conditions every year. And so we have a perspective that allows us to be very predictive about what's going to happen with families. And being able to walk into a room and tell a family, this is what it is, and this is what it's going to take to get to this step in your child's life, is a very comforting thing to families. And so it feels fantastic.
And Savannah's success story is just one of hundreds for this highly specialized team of 41 people here in the Craniofacial Center. Todd Hughes of Gig Harbor grew up with a cleft lip and palate. He went through no less than 14 painful surgeries. So when his twin boys were born with the same condition, he went looking for the best program in the world. Ironically, he feels like he found it just a few miles up the street.
What they were able to do with my kids, and I know what they're not going to have to go through and what I had to go through, it's just amazing.
Right now we can do with 3 operations what a short 10 or 15 years ago used to take 20 operations.
The problems they deal with here all have to do with facial differences due to birth deformities, trauma, and disease. They're masters at aesthetics, but oftentimes their procedures involve feeding and breathing issues. In some cases, these are life-saving operations, all carried out through their coordinated and interdisciplinary care.
What we've built here at Children's is a team of experts. And we make sure that each family, each child gets a chance to see each one of those experts so that they can focus on their child's problem.
Working with children that have head and neck malformations is a very unique experience. And we all work together to provide every aspect of care. The quality of care that's provided is spectacular.
I can sit here, with them being that young, and confident in saying that my goals have already been met. Man, and that's amazing. And that really sums up children. They're an amazing organization.
We just have complete comfort and faith in the organization here.
When her surgeries are complete, it should almost be unnoticeable that she ever had any problems.
They said, you know, by the time Savannah's a teenager, you'd be hardly even noticed that she had a cleft lip.
And when you fix someone's smile, you end up seeing it a lot more.
There's nothing more satisfying than having a child whose face hasn't grown properly. They suffocate at night because they can't breathe. Their eyes aren't protected because their bones aren't growing. They can't gain weight because their teeth don't meet together. And you fix those problems, that's really what truly brings satisfaction to a team. It's a great reason to wake up in the morning.
An interesting sidebar to that story, Savannah's dad, Ed Berry, who you just met, also came to Children's as a teenager. He told us that the treatment that he received here gave him a lot of confidence about bringing his daughter in.
That's right. Ed spent time at Children's when he was just 16 years old, and his visit was a serious one, too. You see, he suffered from osteosarcoma, a cancer in his leg. Ed picks up the story from here.
I was diagnosed in October 1985 with osteosarcoma, which is a form of bone cancer. And I started chemotherapy treatment in November of 1985. And then in December, actually was over here and had my right leg amputated above the knee. At that point in time, that was really the only, course of treatment that was available that would provide the highest success rate.
The treatment for this tumor 20 years ago involved chemotherapy and an amputation. And today we rarely do amputations for tumor problems unless their tumor recurs. And that risk is less than 5%.
9-year-old Kayla is facing the same diagnosis Ed faced 22 years ago, osteosarcoma. But Kayla will be able to keep her leg thanks to a team that includes Dr. Chappie Conrad and Dr. Doug Hawkins, and thanks to advances in cancer treatment for kids.
We've made some dramatic improvements in that implant in the last 10 years.
Currently, about 70% of all children who are diagnosed with cancer will become long-term survivors. There was no hope for children with cancer 100 years ago.
Hello.
Hello. Everyone is important in the care of children. So this is not a hospital that's run by doctors or by any one group. And because we work as a team, we can provide better care.
Kayla and her family came down to Children's from Fairbanks, Alaska. During her stay, their home away from home is here at the Ronald McDonald House. Her mom, Tanya, describes what led up to their trip to Seattle.
She developed a limp one day, and after a few days of it not getting any better, all of a sudden her knee started swelling up, and we brought her in for x-rays. And this is in Fairbanks. And they took one look at the x-rays and said, we're heading you south. And we arrived in Seattle and saw Dr. Conrad and Dr. Hawkins then the following Tuesday, and it's just kind of been a whirlwind since then.
She may not win the 100-yard dash, but she will definitely be cheerleading, and she will probably be doing some borderline sports activities.
To be hit with the diagnosis that, yes, your daughter has cancer at age 9, we're moving you out of your state into a different state, and to show up at Children's was very overwhelming. And they just made you feel at home the second you walked through the door. And there was not a doubt that we were in the best place possible from the second we walked through the doors.
Treating conditions like Kayla's have come a long way in just the past decade, to say nothing of the last century.
100 years from now, there may not be oncologists. There may be pre-oncologists. You hope that you never have to have your child here, but it's comforting to know that there's a place like Children's to bring your child if you have to.
Dr. Chappie, Dr. Hawkins, their entire support staff, their team, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I'm so glad we're here and that they're taking care of my daughter.